It is time for us to check in with Amanda Lang, CTV News Chief Financial Correspondent. Busy week, of course, in the world of business. I guess we might as well start, Amanda, with the Bank of Canada. A lot of people waiting and found out this week that no, the bank is holding steady. It's not going to cut interest rates. So what does that say about the economy now and going forward?
Yeah, it was an interesting week because we kind of knew they weren't going to move. Economists were pretty much united on that, and that's because the bank has told us so. And the bank really doubled down on that message. I mean, if you want to take away the message of, is my mortgage getting cheaper? Not anytime soon, not unless something changes. So if everything stays the way it is, the bank is signaling rates are staying where they are. And honestly, most economists are thinking of a rate hike in 2026, not further declines. The question is, does the economy get worse and the bank needs to cut to help it? Does the trade situation deteriorate? And, it could really deteriorate in a mega way. The bank feels pretty confident that it's in the right spot. It thinks it's got inflation under control and that the economy is doing better than we thought. So overall, I would say this was actually a pretty positive development, except if you were, desperately hoping rates were going to go much lower. It looks like they won't.
So I read a couple of pieces, one suggesting that just by virtue of maintaining the rate at this level, this will improve housing, or at least give people who've been looking to sell an opportunity to do so. Do you put much credence in that?
The market has been waiting for clarity. So I do think that people who've been on the sidelines could come off the sidelines now, because if you were sort of thinking, well, maybe I'm going to wait to get my mortgage, or maybe I'm going to wait and see if the rates change the housing market. Now, it's not going to change. What might change is the economic picture. And there it gets kind of interesting, right? Because our disposable income, our stability of our job, all of that plays into the psychology of whether we're going to make a big decision about housing. Can we afford to buy a house? Do we want to sell our house into this market? And on that front, it's been so interesting, all right? We've seen job creation. And then I don't know if you saw this, but in one of those things that's like a bit of a head spin, StatsCan revised the data on growth and productivity for the past 3 years, and it all got better. So our growth and our productivity is better than we thought looking backwards over 3 years. Now, I don't know if that makes your brain hurt, but it's sort of one of those amazing things where the numbers are now accurate, and the economy did do better than we thought, and productivity is better than we thought. So overall, I would say it's not your imagination. We're actually doing okay. We're managing to kind of weather the trade storm with a couple of pockets of exception, better than we thought. And now we've got this stable outlook from the bank. So my guess is we do see some volume of action happen in the housing market if people were waiting, but it's not going to change prices materially.
My question is, as I hear you say that, I've heard of numbers being revised, but 3 years worth, is this kind of a standard thing that we do?
Yeah, it's not standard. I haven't seen this before, and I haven't seen this dramatic a change. They had kind of signaled that revisions were coming, so economists knew it was happening. I've seen some surprise reactions from economists at the size of the revisions. So it's a bit unusual. It's good news. We might be more upset if it was revised in a negative way. On the other hand, I'll say, we've been wringing our hands over productivity, and it just wasn't as bad as we thought. So it does make you a little bit frustrated because, then you have to ask, what is real? Was anything we're talking about right now real? Are we all? Maybe it's all just a mirage.
Are we even here? Yes.
Are we here?
Or is this all AI? All right, so let's deal with the other half of this equation. We had Bank of Canada do what it did, but on the U.S. side, we had a rate cut. So what does this portend for the U.S.?
Yeah, a little bit of a different story there because they are seeing weakness in their labor market and they're seeing price pressure. So our bank only looks at inflation. That's its mandate, and it's pretty happy with where that's sitting. Their Federal Reserve has a mandate to look at growth, and that's really labor focused. So because of that, it has to be a little bit more careful about what it's doing. It was a bit of a divided Fed, like we saw under the hood, and you could see there was some suggestion of not moving. There was some suggestion of moving even more, but that was Donald Trump's plant on the Fed. So it wasn't a surprise in the sense economists were expecting it to lower. The real question now is, will it have to keep lowering or will it hold steady? And that's a little bit less certain because they're also going to have to watch the data as it comes in, and the jobs data is weaker in the U.S.
By the way, with respect to tariffs, and I know we talk about this pretty regularly, you talk about the U.S. numbers or the U.S. Fed now dropping rates. Have they factored in how much the tariffs, you mentioned this is costing, I think someone posted this week, it might have been the Democrats, that by virtue of the tariffs, American families are going to end up spending $1,200 more this year. How much of that is factored into the U.S. Fed's decision to lower rates?
Oh, it's for sure factored in. And remember, a tariff hits in two ways in terms of what's going on in America. It's the terrible double whammy of a price increase and also an erosion of economic activity. So you get it coming and going. Usually when prices are going up, it's offer you hope because the economy is strong. In this case, it's undermining economic performance and causing some inflationary pressure. So that's the worst of all worlds. And it for sure argues that the Fed might need to stimulate that economy more. It'll be balanced by like weird things like the $12 billion giveaway to farmers that President Trump did to try to offset the pain in one sector. But it is very true that everyday households and consumers in the U.S. are going to feel the pinch. Will it hit a recession? We still think no, and we hope not. And by the way, as Canadians, we desperately hope not because their economy still matters so much to us. But the reality is starting to set in. These tariffs do have a cost, and it costs Americans.
The one other thing I want to bring up real quick, and I want to make sure I have the details right, there was an announcement by the Liberals federal government during the course of the week about money being spent. I think the number I saw was $1 billion. I could be wrong. To get people to come to this country, invest in information technology and the technology sector overall. It's something the government has talked about. This is the first time I've seen a number attached to it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing, we do a lot of this in various sectors, a lot of focus on auto over the years. So definitely kind of government tax credits and incentives to bring investment here. It's a smart thing to do. It's definitely what we should be doing right now. Canada has an advantage, and we saw Microsoft doubling down on its investment here in terms of its data farms. We have cleaner energy than other jurisdictions. We have lots of land. We have, good workers here. So we definitely could build out the part of our economy that focuses on that sort of data, the kind of data service, computer power. All of that is going to be kind of the oil of the future, if you will. No reason why we shouldn't play in that. It's not high-end stuff. I mean, a server farm is, you construct it, but after that, there's very few jobs involved. And it's using energy we might want to use for something else. Those would be the downsides. But it's the right thing for the government to do to try to attract the investment. And that's really what they're focused on, right, is pairing their spending in ways that bring new dollars here.
And I've asked this before as well, but this whole idea now, and I know the government has been working on this for a while, realizing we're kind of in a losing battle with the U.S., are we seeing any substantive sort of deals with other countries in terms of exports that you've noticed?
I mean, there's lots of talk going on. I haven't seen any kind of new breakthrough agreements, but things like, Saab talking about bringing manufacturing here, those kinds of things are good and important. And I think that's a real signal that we do have an opportunity. These things can move slowly, but to me, that's exactly the right kind of moment to hit with European manufacturers to say, look, you want to be in North America, we're the place to come for all of these reasons, including that the U.S. is so volatile and unstable. So we haven't seen blockbuster deals, but we've seen lots of moves in the right direction that could lead to big things.
Last question I will ask you to do nothing with business, but sort of. The Lotto Max draw, I think tonight, is worth $80 million, if I'm correct. Hey, Amanda, you win $80 million. What is the first thing you buy?
The first thing I'd buy if I had $80 million, I don't know. You know what I'd probably do, to be honest, is divvy it up and give it to a bunch of people.
No giving allowed. It's only what you would spend it on for yourself. First thing you'd buy. I don't know. The first thing I would buy, I don't know. I don't really need anything. What would you buy? I kind of threw this to you because I don't know what I would buy either. I always like the idea where I see people buy planes so they can go wherever they want, whenever they want, but I'm not sure 80 million is enough, is it?
Yeah, you can,
I can buy a plane for
20 million. But that's a lot of your capital now you've sunk into a plane, Aaron, and I'm going to advise you against that.
Fine. And where would I invest the other 60 million, Amanda?
I think you'd put it right into the stock market and watch it grow and live off in fact, that's the beauty of it is you put it in the market and then you just live off of the money you generate every year. You don't even have to touch your capital. You probably could buy a plane.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just saying, that's the kind of advice you expect. Amanda, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too.
The newest tracks. Let's go. New music. And the next big thing.
Always on the new music first.
Your first place to hear it all.
'Cause you gon' like it, love it, wanna play it twice. Playing now.
iHeart New Music. Your digital station for brand new drops, fresh finds, and tomorrow's bangers.
I think we need something new.
Discover iHeart New Music. Always fresh, always first. Stream now on the free iHeartRadio app.